Clubs of New Jersey. I got my alien friend here to haul our speaker in for the night. So he's gonna. Our alien friend's gonna allow Ken to finish getting ready for presenting tonight, and I'm gonna give you a rundown of what's up. So, since there are still people traveling in, and I'm going to break my ankle. For everyone online, you can check us out on uacnj.org. That's where you're going to find a list of all our upcoming talks and events, as well as information about our member clubs and various telescopes and instrumentation and science that we do up here. You can also check us out on our socials, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got a Discord server. Join the Discord server. I need more astrophotographers to give me pictures. That being said, we do live stream on YouTube and Twitch. So if you ever can't make it, you can always check us out there online, preview past talks that we've given. If you have any questions, type them down and I'll answer them as soon as I see them. Now, for the people who are here, if you need to use the bathroom, we got the porta potty to my right, your left. It has the red light. After the stream, I will be manning the little gift shop and museum area through the door that's outlined in red. To my left, your right. Each shed that you see down there is an observatory with the roll-off roof. Anything with the roof rolled off is likely going to be open tonight, and you can look to see what might be visible. The clouds look like they're rolling in even worse. So with that, we're going to get into tonight's presentation, which is Astronomy for Beginners with Ken Taylor. Ken has nearly a decade of experience as an amateur astronomer and astrophotographer. His astronomy photographs have been featured in each edition of our UACNJ calendar. He's a member of Northwest Jersey Amateur Astronomers in Blairstown and enjoys having fun and entertaining you all by wearing fun costumes. If you found yourself looking up at the sky in the night and you could be a budding astronomer, Astronomy for Beginners will give you a brief glimpse into some of the things you may need to start your journey. And with that, here's Ken. Or not, because apparently he's struggling. So you get a few more minutes of me. So I noticed here we had a number of people who it's their first time. Unfortunately, they still have not given me control over the weather machine. Otherwise, I would have made the weather nice for you guys, which just means you'll have to come back. So next Saturday is our last in-person presentation of the season. Unfortunately, when winter comes, it gets a little bit too cold for people. And when you got snow and ice, insurance is expensive. So after that, so from November all the way through March, we will be online only programs. Do join me in the chat room on those Saturdays, and while we do our online winter programs, and then come April, we'll be back on site again, weather permitting. Is Ken struggling really that badly? Yes, I heard the grunt of yes. Right. Were there any? Oh, hey, look, he stopped struggling. All right, Ken, if you want to get your microphone on.
I'm going to try. Hi, everybody. Hi.
So while he's struggling, do think of good questions. And so for the people here, we do have a question and answer session at the end. So if you do think of some juicy questions, we're gonna torture him, have a little bit of fun.
1, 2. I don't know if I'm on.
You are on.
Oh, I am. Son of a gun. Hi, everybody.
There you go.
All together. Hi, everybody. See, there's a lot of people over here at UACNJ ready to go into our presentation. First things first, I am Ken Taylor. I'd like to think of myself as an amateur astronomer, but I got to tell you right now, everything I learned about astronomy was here. I have my own scope. I do look through it. I take pictures, just like a lot of other people. Mine are not called pictures. Mine are called, oh my God, what is that? Believe me. Please be aware online and also here that if you do ask a question, you sense any hesitation on my part, please be aware if I do give you an answer, there's a 50-50 shot I'm lying to you. So don't make them too difficult. I do have my friends online that will look up at stuff online and give me the answers during the presentation. But if you can help me out, that would be great. But either way.
I do enjoy using the magical internet box at my side.
So let's get started. All right. So either way, presentation definitely is astronomy for beginners, as I was. Okay. Everything I learned about astronomy, again, was here. Astrophotography was here. If you're interested in getting involved with astronomy, purchasing of a telescope of any way, shape, or form, you might want to come up, visit us here as these people, gentlemen, ladies, and kids also. Come up, look at what we have, and that way you'll be able to make your decision maybe a little bit more astutely. As a young boy, as you might guys, as kids, you might have wondered about what's in the sky and look and just be intrigued by it. Okay, I was, and until I asked the questions and what's out there, what do we got to do? I really wanted to learn more. End results are like it or believe it, everything that you see within a magazine or on television are astrophotography. It's not necessarily going to be able to see with your naked eye because they are diluted like milk going into water. So, but here at UACNJ, this time of year, if we had a much clearer sky, you'd actually see the Milky Way. Be able to point it out to you in a heartbeat, and you'd be able to see it too. All you need to do is have an open mind, looking up and just being amazed by what you see through telescopes, the Milky Way, the planets. But they're out there. I don't know if that's too much air. I don't know. But, as far as getting your interest, you'll find out what you might be interested in. You might be interested in observing the sun. The sun, of course, we can see during the day, not at night, duh. But the key to that, younger folks and other people that might not know, make sure if you were to look at the sun with a pair of binoculars, you will be blind in less than a half a second. Because it's just like a magnifying glass on a piece of paper. It will start a fire, and you're blind because it would burn you. So always make sure that you use or have, are looking through a telescope or a pair of binoculars that is properly equipped with the proper filters. You might be interested in the planets. As I pointed out here to people at our location here, Jupiter, Saturn are up currently. We will get a view, hopefully, as they appear within the little spaces that we have in the clouds that we have. Since we're talking about the planets, is that too much air? I apologize. 1, 2. Very good. That's fine. Since we're talking about the planets, think about this. How many days does it take the planet or a planet to orbit the sun once? How many days does it take Earth? I don't hear you. 365 days. That's right. How about, let's say, Pluto? Yes, here in astronomy, within our group, Pluto's still a planet. You guys applauding online too? That's great. Pluto's a planet. Have any idea of how many days it takes Pluto to go around the sun one time? Any guesses? Let's change it. How many years does it take Pluto to go around the planet of the sun one time? Anybody else? 200 I got. 200, 200. We got 200. Blah, blah. 220. I've got 220. Blah, blah, blah. Well, to make it a little bit shorter, how about 248 years one time around the sun? Nobody here, no one here, guaranteed, no one on the planet probably, I can almost guarantee that too, has seen the Jupiter or Pluto or been alive with Jupiter going around once. It was discovered in the 1930s. Okay, it took less than 100 years, actually, less than 70 years, for it to be demoted to a dwarf planet. I'm sorry, that's very degrading, as far as I'm concerned. This is not our moon. This is Mercury. Any idea, and I'll ask the question now, any idea of what the hottest planet is within our solar system? I got Mercury, Sun. The Sun is the hottest star within our planet. It is not, in our solar system, it's not a planet. Nice try. Actually, it is not Mercury. Nope. Venus. The reason Venus has a hotter surface temperature than any other planet is because of its atmosphere. One, within the closeness of the sun, number one. Number two, the atmosphere holds that heat in. It would melt lead on the surface of Venus. Another picture, of course, to our, I'm going to make sure if it's the same, I would say right, but you got it left. On the left, of course, is our moon. We're going to go back one day, hopefully within my lifetime, to the moon. As far as I know, they're already making plans for that. Then we have some of our other planets. We have Mars. With a couple of our telescopes that we have here, you will actually see, you will actually be able to see the ice caps of Mars. It won't be boom. Yeah, okay, I could go slide down that mountain. No, it's not that clear, but it's close. Mars has 2 planets. Whoops. Back. Keep going. Sorry. Keep going. More. I really zoomed through a bunch. Crap. That's the other direction. Oops. Everybody got everything? There goes a lot of my stuff. Oh my gosh. My apologies. My clicker is not working properly. Very good. Thank you. Yeah, we're good now. Actually, then you have Mars and you have Jupiter here. Notice, what is that? I can't really hear you scream it. That is actually a shadow of one of the moons. The moon actually is right here. See that little formation? I don't know if you guys can see it online, but you see that? So that's the shadow of this moon. Jupiter doesn't have 67 moons anymore. At the time when I put this together, which was in 2015, yes, it had 67. Guess what? It has over 79 moons now, thank you to our space telescopes. Saturn. You will, with the telescopes that we have here, be able to see the sphere, maybe be able to perceive some of the darker rings that are on the planet, That's not a moon. That's something on the screen. It's something there. That's a stain. It's not on my picture here. You will act. Whoops. Let's go back. You will actually see the rings of Saturn and make out the planet and the rings. You won't be able to see the individual rings, but you'll be able to see that ring. Other than that, again, Jupiter. Any idea? Notice there's no shadows here because the moon's not casting. That's dirt. We already discussed that. Any idea what that is? We call them the Northern Lights. That is the aurora borealis on Jupiter taken by a space telescope. Next, I'm going here. Uranus has rings. We discovered that with one of our probes. I believe it was Viking, and actually went by the planet, and that's when they discovered that it did have rings. This particular case, in looking at Uranus, would be maybe a lightly blue ball. It really wouldn't be perceptible other than that. We can't really see the rings because they're facing onto us and the light's just passing right through it. Neptune. Ugh. Neptune has 5 planets. We already saw that. And the other one was, of course, um, Pluto. The one thing that you have to realize that here within our universe and within our solar system, we have stars. Our moon, or our sun, happens to be a star. I was going to ask that question. That is the closest star. If anybody at school has asked what's the closest star to us, it's the sun. End results are is that it's amazing how big stuff is. You might have to back totally out of that. There it is. Mm-hmm. There it is. You just gotta have to expand on it. There you go. I apologize. This is in German. You'll see it coming up. Oh, maybe I got the right one. It's German underneath. Now you just saw that. Oh, they're not looking. They're not seeing it here. That's terrible. Oh, you might have to totally back out of the other thing. Oh my God. I apologize online. We're having technical difficulties with my personal computer. It just has that one screen up. Because there's multiples open. Hi, everybody. I just messed up totally. It's okay. Relax. That's it. Son of a gun. Aha. So we saw, we can run it back. At least to Earth. There you go. That's good enough. There you go. Woohoo! So that's our moon compared to Mercury. Watch. Remember where Earth is. Saturn without its rings, obviously. Earth is way back over here. Not done yet. please notice now what it's doing. That's Earth. Also, in a later presentation, we can get rid of that. We don't do commercials here. Okay. And go to the presentation, yep, and we'll just zoom through it. Stop. I'm going. All right, so the one thing about that little speck, that was Earth. Also, in another presentation that they have online, it would take over 1,400 years for a jet plane to go around that one star, to give you some sort of an idea of size if you fly a lot. The other thing that we are privy to is sometimes we even get nice stuff like this. Comets coming over. One of our photographers here, his name is Chris Calley. Chris Calley actually got a great shot over one of our observatories of a comet going over it. Wonderful shot. So you might be interested in this kind of stuff, which is DSOs, which are deep space objects. Most of them are totally invisible with the naked eye. Comets you would be able to see because they're close to us. Of course, zooming by, that's the whole idea of a comet. You know, when it comes to a galaxy like this, you might only see the bright core and maybe a small smudge underneath it in this particular case, which is two galaxies. This is one of my absolute favorite. This is M51. This is actually where a galaxy, the larger one right here, is swallowing a smaller galaxy. I'm sorry to tell you that within another whole lot of years, and I will tell you, we on Earth in our Milky Way galaxy are going to collide with another galaxy. But it'll only be another 4 to 5 billion years from now. We're good. We're good. Hopefully we're living someplace else outside of our galaxy. The one thing about the collision like this is just like my fingers. Hopefully everybody can see it. Just like my fingers. I'm not hitting anything. Why? When we look up, we see space. And that's exactly what's going to happen. A lot of stuff's going to move. There will be collisions, but not every body within each of these galaxies are going to collide. This you would be able to see with your naked eye. This is M13. M13 is a globular star cluster. It's really cool to look through a telescope and see that. Guess what? It's starting to clear up. Is it clear over there? And behind you, which is the house. Oh no, me too. This is one of our this is what's going to hit us. And in this particular case, this is Andromeda. Andromeda is visible. I can see it with my naked eye here on a moonless night. It is visible most definitely with a pair of binoculars. But as I explained earlier, you would only see the core. It goes from here, out here actually, and about out to here. The distance between this, as perceived from us on Earth, is about 4 full moons. With astrophotography, we're able to get those diluted areas of that galaxy. But it is about that length. If you would look at the moon, full, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll show you with a pair of binoculars. It's over there, and we can't see it because the clouds are in the way. My favorite, absolute favorite, and this happens to be one of my pictures. This is called the Horsehead Nebula. Okay, I'm being told I can't go away from the camera too much because people are complaining. They're not? Thank you for not complaining. Oh my gosh. I'm a wanderer, okay? So, In this particular case, this is IC 434, the Horsehead Nebula. It's 1,500 light years away. So, when looking through the telescopes, remember this. The sun is 93 million miles away from us. If I was to go over to here and turn on the sun, let's make believe it's over our heads, but it's out like a light bulb. I just turned it on. Guess what? How come it's not light here? Light has to travel through space to reach us, just like water coming out of a squirt gun. If I squirted it up in the air, yes, we have gravity. But if I squirt it up in the air, it takes time for it to hit the ground. 8.5 minutes before it hits us. So, when I say this, and again, you wouldn't be able to see this, but if you look at a picture, the picture that was captured, in my particular case, which was about 4.5 years ago, that picture is light coming off of that object 1,500 years ago. It's kind of cool. I like talking about that. But again, you can see it with a pair of binoculars. You can see great pictures like this. Mine's okay. This is not great. But I'm not a great photographer. I was never an astrophotographer. This particular object is called the Crab Nebula. It was actually viewed during the day, 100 BC. It's documented in Chinese literature as being able to see it in broad daylight. How far away it is? Hey guys, somebody on the internet, tell me how far away the Crab Nebula is. Hopefully I'll get an answer. I don't know. It's 37 miles away. Yeah, there's the hesitation I was telling you about. This is another nebula. Nebula. Notice I said nebula. This is a place where stars are born. In this particular case, this is the Orion Nebula. If, with a pair of binoculars, you know exactly where to look. Everybody know what the Orion constellation looks like with the 3 stars on the belt? If you were to look up in the sky, I'm making believe I am, the Orion Nebula or the constellation. You'll see 3 small stars on the left side of the constellation. It's my right. I know it's my right, but if you look at that center star within what we call the sword of Orion, with a pair of binoculars on a very clear night, not in Newark, New Jersey, with no light pollution, you'd be able to see just the core, basically just this area, but it will look like a fuzz, but you're looking at the nebula.
Crab Nebula is 6,523 light years. And it was the first search
6,523
result
light years
because
away.
I've done this before for you.
So when they saw it in 100 BC, it happened 6,535 light years before that. There's time. This is the Daniel Nebula. No. He's smiling at me. I got one of the young gentlemen in front of me. His name is Daniel. That means I don't know. Maybe you just like to look up in the sky. And again, as I told some people earlier, when you're looking up here, look up. You might see a star moving. It isn't a star. It's actually an airplane with lights on either side, which is a dead giveaway. But ones that don't have the lights on the left or right side, front or back, whatever it's coming at us on, those are satellites. We've been treated with many satellites going overhead. Also, the International Space Station. I did it again. Hold on. Sorry, online. You're looking at my skull. Okay, so in this particular case, the gentleman who took the picture of it knew exactly where to look. This is not a satellite. It was moving through space, and he took pictures. Initially, he thought it was. It was the Tesla that Elon Musk sent up. Anyone who's got the funds and whatever, make yourself a ship or deal with Elon Musk, because if you bring that sucker back, it's going to be worth more than a fortune. Maybe they'll discover it. I would love to be able to go back and forth, because that's the second picture. You would have seen that it moved from approximately here to right here by the time he had taken that picture. Let's see. I have my assistant here. So here it is. That's 1 second. No, go back to that one. Okay. It was actually here. Go ahead, make the next one. I think these are the two stars, so it went through here. So it was moving. So he knew it was moving, but he was able to get it, actually watch it go by and find out what it was. I'll get next. I'm sorry if I blinded somebody. I was doing a laser. Why did he have the roof down? There's no wind. It's cold enough out there. It's not hot. So maybe you might even see these guys out there. Groot. Bingo. I did it again. I'll do it. I do it myself. She's too much of a thing. So maybe you guys might be the next person, the younger guys or the older fellows, might be the next one to put one into outer space. The one thing that happened, and I bring this up, or better, you might be involved with a movie as a consultant about the forms of life that are on other planets. I had one right behind me before. Could be. I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a show that you can look up online, younger guys. It's called Exploration Outer Space. I did it the shit. Sorry. Woof. You can buzz me, whatever. Keep going. More. That's good enough. Right there. Exploration Outer Space. It's a really great show. They show you a lot of different subjects, but a lot of occupations, which is one of my other talks about space occupations. Who's got apps on their phone for space? Okay. Do yourself a favor. Get yourself the app that has the International Space Station flying over, because that one will tell you when to go out in the middle of the night. Don't wake up mom or dad and say, it's going over, because it might be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sure they wouldn't appreciate it. But there's some really, really, really good apps. I personally use this one here, which is SkyChart. The other thing that I like to point out to people is we, of course, didn't name the constellations. They were named hundreds of years ago, okay, by the Greeks, sitting around the fire. I'm sorry. You have something like this in the sky, minus the lines. You have a dot, so on and so forth. That looks like a crab. These guys had definitely too much rum. Okay, I mean, come on. This here, I can show you a teapot. Stellarium's another good planetary application that you can get on your phone, most definitely on computers and tablets. I think the computer and tablets they have at a cost. The one for your phone would cost absolutely nothing. But Stellarium's a great 3D. I can actually go forward in years, backward in years. Not 3 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion years where Andromeda's crunching us. But you can find out what was over the sky over your head the day you were born. My night was cloudy. But Stellarium's absolutely free. It's a great program, and it actually will help you look at stuff in the sky. You also have apps that you can actually move it around, of course, and find what am I looking at, so on and so forth. Stellarium allows me to actually plan my photography sessions because I can find out what's up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. Here's something right now where below the screen is exactly what I was just describing, where the moon is in the upper left, right here, I guess, whatever, close enough. But, you know, weather permitting, we see a bunch of stuff. Nebula, we are able to see some nebula that are very bright. Getting started with equipment, astronomy for beginners, binoculars, like I was telling you. You got all kinds of binoculars you can get, but this is the other assortment of stuff you could actually get. Even a simple tabletop telescope, which is okay, as long as nobody bumps the table and the stupid thing goes like this. But this is a computerized. I'll get into that a little bit more. But it's a great choice because, one, anybody campers? There you go. Look up. Take your binoculars out. Look up. Not into other people's tents or trailers, okay? Just don't be doing that. But learning star hopping, learning the stars over your head, you'll be able to locate stuff, or you can get a planisphere, which is available within our shop here. That will help you bring up what's over your head, along with your apps, which are probably better. Sorry, Kim. It's a great place to get started with astronomy. Don't get binoculars like this. Definitely too small, not enough magnification. Maybe to see a stage or something like that, but that's about it. But these are absolutely too big. They are not portable. In fact, I'd love to be able to find out where that building is. I don't think it's a building. I think actually somebody photoshopped it. I don't really know. If somebody online wants to look up if this is really Photoshop, let me know. Or if it's a real building, I want to know where it is. That's like that big ball of rubber bands. Binoculars. Here's a pair of binoculars. Mind you, the price has changed. Thank you, COVID. But no longer probably $39 that you can get. I buy the binoculars all the time just to have them. And I hand them out to my grandkids and stuff like that, my neighbors. But you can buy them a decent pair of binoculars, even at a garage sale. This is actually a very short duration, maybe only about 5 to 10 seconds, but that's Andromeda. But you can almost make out that it goes from here to about here in the sky. But you would definitely be able to see this very bright center portion with a pair of binoculars. Andromeda happens to be 2.5 times the size. That's why they're going to eat us. They're bigger. Okay? And it's about 2.5 million light years away. So when you're looking at with your pair of binoculars, once you find Andromeda or through one of our telescopes, how many years has the light been going through space to reach our eye? Nobody. 2.5 million years. That's when that light came off, went through space, and to reach Earth. Different types of designs of telescopes, all of which are good. Newtonian reflector. Why is it called a reflector? Anybody got an answer? Go ahead. Loud. Because there's mirrors in it. That's correct. Absolutely. So in this particular case, the light comes in, hits the primary mirror, the secondary mirror, and that shoots out to an eyepiece. The other one is similar to what I have, not similar, exactly what I have, where the light comes in, hits a secondary mirror, goes out here, comes through the eyepiece. It has a piece of glass in the front. A refractor is similar to what the pirates used in the 1600s, 1700s. And the light comes in, goes through a series of lenses, out to your eye. Now we talked about telescopes. Let's talk about mounts. A simple mount, good enough. Moon, planets, so on and so forth. Very, very good, just like this. Okay? They're easy to get, they're light, they're portable. You know, they're called a push to, but a hand controlled mount with an active motor has a worm gear on it, and end results are it'll go with the rotation of the Earth. This is a manual also here, but as you're turning the knobs, it's moving it for you. It's really quite good. Computerized, of course, once you get tired of hunting and pecking for 2 to 3 hours to find something in the night sky, it's better to go, and a boink, it shows up in your telescope. For astrophotography, great, even for visual, because that's all I use on mine. My telescope is very similar to this.
That's also assuming you set up the telescope correctly at the beginning. Alignment's a thing.
Yes, it has to be properly aligned to be able to find those things. It's not plunk it on the ground. I want to find the moon. It's over here, and it goes over here. Guess what? It's not aligned. End results are is it takes about me about 20 minutes to align my telescope, and it's not hard. It totally is not hard. I've taught people how to do it. Don't get a telescope that's that big. Ready? This telescope actually comes apart. This is one piece, which is the secondary mirror assembly, and the base is behind him right here, this little box. Everything else is poles coming up. He puts this together. And then he also brought it in an Envoy, which is a GMC small, medium-sized SUV. So it's portable, a little bit cool, but one of the best views I ever had in a telescope. I was camping that weekend. Speaking about the bigger scopes, we again, as I mentioned, will have the largest optical telescope east of the Mississippi, non-privately owned, and it will be this guy. Wow. I heard a wow. Wows are good. It's definitely not portable. Let's take it this way. The primary mirror, which is the reflection that you see down in the back here, weighs 1,500 pounds. This entire unit, as you see it here, weighs 16,000 pounds. Also notice, if you notice over here on the one side, it was built in the 1970s. I said decommissioned ICBM tracking telescope from the U.S. Air Force. ICBM, International Continental Ballistic Missile. This is almost the same equipment that they had on Star Trek when it first started out. It's just blinky lights and so on and so forth. Astronomy is a great hobby. 8 to 80, guess what? I'm almost there. No, I'm not 80. I'm almost 70. But either way, it is a great hobby, especially once you get involved with a group. Okay? And again, it costs me $40 a year to be here as a member. Find a club, join that club. Hopefully it's related to us. If it isn't, don't join the club. But
join that club and get them to join us. No, join that club and get them to join us.
Oh, well, that's fine. But if they're in Sheboygan, Michigan, forget it. They ain't coming here. But
we ain't gonna stop them, though.
End results are is that there's a lot of stuff to see in the sky yourselves personally. No, I mean really cool. Look at me. This is not white grass. Neither is this. The best time for us to take our pictures is in the winter time. It's stiller. It's less humidity. We don't have the public to entertain, which I apologize for even stating that because I enjoy it the most. I haven't taken pictures in 5 years or 6 years now. End results are we love having you here. But it's an extremely cool hobby. You know, what do you think? I was the only one. I'm not the only one taking these pictures. This was one of our premier astrophotographers that just passed a couple of years ago. What about this poor slob? This poor slob is actually one of our best astronomers here. Notice, please, in our discussion earlier, this telescope here is a push to. He can find anything in the sky. You want to see, the so on so forth nebula? Take a look. He knows where to look, and it drives me absolutely nuts that he can do that because I got to use a computer. And the problem is, I was standing right next to him doing my photography, watching him go, yeah, I found it. Yeah. Yes, of course, it's very good viewing even in the warmer temperatures. This is warm, okay? I was quitting astrophotography when it got down to 19 degrees. We had one guy here until it was like almost like I think it was like 6 degrees. And one of our other members who lives very close came up to check to make sure he wasn't frozen. No, it gets cold. So, notice here, all these people are all looking at something. I'm just saying, we'll say this. Up in the sky, what they were looking at was the International Space Station flying over. I went in and there was, our talks used to be inside. Hey, the International Space Station. Oh my God, I had to get away out of the door. I mean, they were about ready to run me over. UACNJ, you are here. But we do have, like I said, 7 telescopes. This red one in the back, which is called our Greenwood, is in the back on the side. I don't know if that'll be open tonight, but if somebody's there, we're good. I will be open. I know Jeff is open over here. I might have this. In fact, I know this is open. So these 3 telescopes will be open. This one will also be open. That's belongs to a club. There's always a lot of stuff to see in our sky, even over New Jersey, even though we still have light pollution. Okay? The key is light pollution. It takes away from our sky. Just as the moon, when you look up in the sky with a full moon, you do not see stars around it. Because the light from our sun reflecting off of the moon coming back into our atmosphere. Time? Oh, she's got to stand up to get her legs moving. Okay, fine. Okay. So again, thank you for allowing me to show you a little part of astronomy. And hopefully one day you'll get your telescope, binoculars, and go out and take a look up besides coming here. Or we'd rather you come here, but because I like having you here. And with that, thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. Hopefully you had fun. I'll allow you to go. Thank you, Kim.
You can't go yet.
Oh, come on.
We have questions and answers to do.
You got questions? Not necessarily answers. But go ahead.
I think you have answers to some of these.
Okay, fine.
All right. So because I saw, I think a couple of you trickle in while the presentation, quick reminder. Bathroom is the porta potty. To my right, your left. Gift shop, museum area. To my left, your right. Sheds with roofs rolled off. Observatories. When we go to leave, we use our headlights because we do not like getting run over and we do not like running over people.
It's a terrible thing to clean up. You just don't want to clean it.
The paperwork's very annoying, and if you're the one getting run over, it's not fun. Would not suggest. 0 out of 10.
She's been hit twice.
Don't tell them that.
Oh, God.
But honestly, I'd rather me get hit than someone else. So, besides that, however, when we are walking around, if we're using flashlights, please keep them pointed towards the ground because we don't need to unnecessarily blind people if we don't have to. All right, so we have a question and answer. For the people here, I just ask that you raise your hand and then wave it about. I could actually see most of you today, which is nice.
Yep.
You guys decided to get close.
Ready?
So,
man. I was going to tie you up with the rope that you just stepped over.
I know what you were thinking, Ken. No. Right, so I'm going
There
to
you got
start
one
things.
question right there.
Yep, I'm going to actually start things off with the first question I saw online. And it was, what is your favorite planet?
Saturn. Saturn was my first planet that I ever looked at. I did it with help because, again, I don't know what it was. I had an actual science teacher that I knew in the high school in my hometown, Mount Olive, and he took me out and he says, "I think that's where it is." Blah blah blah. He put it up there. I looked at it. As far as I was concerned, it was a used telescope, very similar to what I have currently. And as far as I was concerned, the $600 that I paid for that telescope was paid off in my first peak.
Right, I know someone had a question here. Did you have the question? Did you? You had the question. Oh, hold on. Use the mic.
Oh, okay. So we bought equipment before getting any experience with astronomy, and setting it up and calibrating, collimating it, is something we want to learn. How would we find the resources to get a lesson to orient us to the equipment and setting it up?
Learning how to set up a telescope.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, one, it depends on the telescope, and I'm familiar with it, but I would help you. But if you have a telescope, number one, next weekend is our last weekend here for public night. So, as far as learning how to set it up, it's really not hard. I have a Celestron, so I'll use that as my example. I have an automatic mount. You have to learn how to find, number one, Polaris. Once you find Polaris, which is one of the first steps you'd use to actually set up the scope, then it'll ask me for a routine, which routine I want. I do a 2-star alignment. I'm too anal to just do 2-star alignments. I do like about 4 or 5. And what I do mean by alignment is I know it points me in a direction. Here's the star, but my telescope is pointing here. So I have to move it over to focus it on that star, centering it in my eyepiece. Once I have it centered in my eyepiece, I go, no, that's where it is. Enter, and then I press my align button, and that's how I progress through it. It'll eventually, and has told me, my Celestron has said, alignment successful, because I gone to 4 or 5 my stars, and they go, no, you moved it like a hair. But that's because I'm crazy that way. I just want to be dead on when I bring something in.
That
You're
being
welcome.
said, that was set up for his telescope. We don't know what you have. If you happen to have it now, I can't guarantee that someone would be able to have time to do that tonight. But a good source is look up your make and model of the telescope. Chances are there's a YouTube video, and the great thing about those, I actually learned to crochet off one, is you can pause them and replay them as many times as you want with no fear of judgment. I like that one. But seriously, I do suggest Googling make model telescope, because what he does is not necessarily what might work for your telescope. If you don't have a computerized telescope, that's not going to help you very much. All right, so our next online question disappeared on me. No, what is your... You okay, hon? Right.
Oops.
What is your favorite place to observe the night sky?
There is the best place that I know of to observe the night sky, even better than here, is called Cherry Springs State Park. It's about an hour north, believe it or not, north of Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. Yes, there is a place called Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. They just did it just like because the naming of the constellations, just to mess people up. But it is extremely dark. In fact, on a clear night, which I went out and I was doing my astrophotography, I had a hard time finding the Big Dipper on a clear night. Why? It was loaded with stars. It was absolutely ridiculous. You could see, I could see my audience. I could see your face from here. Okay, and that's from the reflection, but I'd be able to see you with no problem. Just from the starlight, we go out there on a new moon night. Voila.
All right. Another question from our audience here. Perfect.
Nice and loud.
Behind us, planet or star?
Right up there is a planet. That
Jupiter?
is Jupiter. Oh, and she's congratulating herself. Oh my God!
Well, no, it's
You
exciting.
found it! Oh my God!
When you're first starting, it is exciting. I'm still learning them. I'm constantly torturing Chris, my boyfriend. Okay, that's this thing, right? And he's like, yes, I've told you like 5 times tonight. That's not the 20 other times you said that the other night. So keep on asking questions like that. Annoy your significant others. It's great. Right. So the next online question was was a statement saying the binoculars thing you saw is an actual part of a building in Los Angeles and is part of buildings rented by Google.
Thank you, thank you. Los Angeles?
Yes.
I'm going to have to look it up and hopefully get my chance to go back out to Los Angeles again.
All right. So the actual question that I was going to say was, why did you start in astronomy and when did you start?
Why did I start with astronomy? Again, as I was mentioning, I got my first telescope, got my first view of a planet. I'm sorry, I was addicted immediately. That's only one of my many hobbies, but just being able to look at something, take a picture of something that I can't see with my naked eye and even get close to what I see in a magazine, just fulfilling, and it's infectious, just like any other hobby that you might be involved with.
And when did you get? There was 2 parts to
When
that
did I
question.
get it? Birth. No. When did I get into it? I would say it was 2012. 2010. I'll take that back. 2010. I got involved with it, I think. You'd have to look back at my membership because that was the first year I was. You look it up. Oh, well, I'll ask Chris. But that's when I got started with it. But again, as I mentioned, I am not in any way, shape, or form a professional. It's obvious, duh. But I learned everything I know about astronomy here from these guys. The wealth of knowledge is phenomenal. Getting involved with a group like this, I couldn't ask for anything better.
All right. I saw someone had a question over here, I think. Or people just faking me out.
So with that, we're done.
All right. So I did put out a last call for questions online. I want to, while I'm just giving them a minute, because it takes a few seconds from when I put out the last call to when they actually get it. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight, who came out here. I want to thank all of our online audience for joining us as well. Like I said, do be safe and have a great night, everyone.
I turned that off. Oh, there it is. Good, cool. I got to leave the light up so nobody gets falling down. I don't know what that star is that you're pointing at. Oh, my God. Oh, there you go. All righty. Be careful in the dark. Try not to use white lights. White lights will detract from your night vision, and it makes it very difficult for your eyes to readjust.
There was actually a last question for me. Is that they're in Texas. Can they learn from us too? The answer is yes. Join us online. We're always here. On our website, we have a contact us. Hit us up on info. And a lot of times we can help you answer questions and all that. Hit us up on Facebook. Check out our Discord and ask the questions in the Discord. I generally check that periodically now. So, all right. Everyone have a good night.